Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the stream. It is I, DIGI Driver, welcoming you to your Sunday, September 17th. It is 4:35 p.m. on the Eastern Seaboard, and I am late to the party, but that's okay. I have been doing some things around the house, and I think I'm going to turn down the volume a little bit so I can talk more comfortably. You guys should probably still be able to hear me just fine, but let me know if you can't. Yeah, like I said, this was another one of those typical fast weekends where you go from one end of the weekend to the other. You do your thing, you have a chance to recharge and to do some things you don't typically get a chance to do on the weekend. I'm sorry, during the weekday. And that's exactly what happened. Um, Friday night turned into Saturday, which turned into Saturday night, which turned into Sunday, and now is rapidly turning back into Sunday night. And typical work week looms ahead, but Lord willing, it'll be a good week. Also, I'm really happy to report that it is starting to feel closer and closer to fall around here. It's not officially fall yet. Um, what's that called? Oh yeah, the autumnal equinox is, I think it's usually the 21st or the 22nd. It's one of those 2 days. It's coming this week, and with that, shorter days, colder evenings, and warmer drinks. So I'm looking forward to the adventure. In the meantime, we're loading into MSFS to get some background music or some background noise going for Scenery Dev. We're going to revisit Plymouth, and I'm going to readjust my screen because I just realized it was not full screen, so apologies in advance. But it's a thing, a little bit of the behind the scenes work to make this work. That I think is good. Yeah, we have 1440p resolution right now, but I think I'm streaming at something just below 1080p, so it's downscaled. And my hope is that by doing that, I don't really stress my processor that much. I mean, not that it's going to matter much because, again, we're not doing a whole lot in terms of, flying at the moment. I might sneak a flight in if I finish a few of the models that I'm working on. And TBH, I might take the icon for a little spin. We'll see what happens. Oh, that's right. Yesterday I did some flights in the sim, actually in two sims, in P3D and in MSFS. In P3D, I flew from Wilkes-Barre in Pennsylvania to Boston, and I flew in MSFS from Quito in Ecuador to I think I flew to Bolivia. I think so. I did SEQM to SKBO. So yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense. And I have been hunting for better frame rate, trying to tweak my frame rate so that I could actually enjoy more smoothness, but certainly trying to get fewer stutters. So that's where I am right now, on a mission, on a quest. I even took some time to do some gaming which was decidedly not flight sim related. So not gonna lie, happy I tried to kind of dive into some outside pursuits, so to speak. And you want to know what? 4:40 p.m. right now is not a bad time to be at. So let's keep it this way and let's jump in. But once again, folks, very happy to have you guys here, whether you're watching live or on the replay. We are loading into Plymouth Municipal Airport for a little bit of scenery dev, but this is more for ambiance right now. I might do some office hours this week to do some overdue cleanup of some of the things I need to do, which Eric Flight has graciously filled me in on. Let me load the project, and then if and when I do decide to do a little dev on the project, in the scenery, in the sim, through the SDK, I can do that. Okay, so this is 1440p. But it's downscaled for the stream. I did this on purpose so that I could actually have more room to stretch out. I am still working on the terminal building. I haven't gotten anywhere close to starting it, but I do want to work on that, or try to work on that, along with fixing the supreme amount of offset between the beacon light and what we have here. Also, I don't know why there's like this deformed thing going on with the beacon, actually spinning beacon itself, but is what it is. I'm not going to worry about that right now because I'm working on more 3D objects to create, which I'm going to be doing in Blender next. So let's swap over to Blender since I already have it running, and let's go. Where's my Blender capture? Further up. There we go. All right, so let me increase my sim volume. You should definitely be getting some background noise now. And now we can get underway. Is it? Yeah, this is full screen. Good. Okay, so there were dozens of pictures that my good friend Eric Fleck got for me of the airport grounds, and I am way behind on creating additional material. So I am trying to get myself back in a good rhythm for building objects. So we're going to start with some very basic ideas, basic shapes, and I want to see what happens, because on the one hand, I forget. Let me actually think about this. Does anybody know if MSFS has dynamic reflections? I'm checking online now. Wow. There's also some kind of a mod for ray tracing. I mean, I'm probably not going to mess around with that myself, but that looks pretty cool. Hmm. Okay, so not gonna think about that too much because I'm not going to, I think, have the time to do it. Let's go ahead and get rid of some of the things. We're gonna build some signs today, and I'm going to see if I can actually export some shapes. I created this shape, which is basically like a stop sign closer to the ground on the grounds of the airport. I'm mostly interested in the pole which is holding the stop sign up. And the astute will note that I don't have, individual nuts and bolts running up and down this thing to hold the stop sign in place, or holes where the other bolts would go. It's very simple. I don't want to spend a lot of polygons on it. So I want to see if I can grab this and export it. This is dull metal, so I'm probably going to see. Undo and redo. Now, can I copy this and paste it somewhere else? I don't even care if it pastes with absolutely nothing else, with no textures or anything. I'm just curious to see if it actually will work. Oh, look at that. It did. And did it do it with the materials? Oh, wow. Did it? Yeah, I mean, I'm going to want to copy this and paste it in a different folder so that I can actually continue the project, but that's pretty neat. I had forgotten that I could actually do that. I think I did some of that when I was working on my Camp Peary landing strip project last year. It's utterly amazing to think that right around this time last year I actually released the scenery. It's, well, not released it. I think the release actually happened in October, but it was right around this time that I was starting to wrap up. So that's pretty cool. All right, don't mind me. I am grabbing some textures. I need to find dull metal. So dull metal roughness, and dull metal normal. Yeah, there we go, and it's OGL. So I can copy that and paste it into a new folder. I am probably going to, I think I'm going to create the folder first, because what I'm trying to do is I'm actually trying to create another sign. So let's create the folder where this stuff is going to go. And I should have it ready in a few seconds. And I'm going to say it's a direction sign. And now I can paste it there, and now I can save the project, and I can keep it there. So we're going to call this a direction sign because there's going to be a sign that we're actually going to put on this pole that tells vehicular traffic to use the alleyway, and planes will use the taxiway. So let me get to work. All right. This is actually, do I care? I mean, I might choose to keep this shape for now and just keep it gray. Keep it gray. It's dull metal. You can see, you know, some discoloration, which is cool. And then we're going to grab the sign next. And I would say the sign's probably going to be about, how big is this pole? Okay, 1.2 meters. So it's like 3.5 feet tall. It could probably stand to be a touch bigger. So let me do some basic math here. All right. Or not. Let's just get the conversion. A meter is equivalent to 1.0936 yards, or 39.370 inches. So if I want the pole to be about a little bit less than 4 feet tall. 4 feet is 48 inches. So somewhere around 44 some odd inches. So 44 divided by 39.370 is roughly 1.17. Interesting. Okay, so let's see. 1.2 times 39.370. Okay, we were just about at 4 feet. Okay, this is actually good. This is actually good. I thought the dimensions were off, but I was wrong. Okay. All right. I can either grab the photo and use it as a graphic, like get the signage and use it as a graphic, or I can actually type the words out. To save time for now, I'm just going to go ahead and grab the image and run it through my my editing software so that I can actually just paste it on a sign on the actual plane that will be the sign. Okay. Yeah, I should be hearing it. Okay, great. Standby 1. I should be able to open up my raster image software to get this set into, I think, a 1K texture sheet. Actually, probably a 512K texture sheet should be as good as it needs to be right now, because that's a really, really small image, and I don't think I need to make it much bigger than 512 by 512. Okay, now we paste the image, and I should be able to expand it. Oof, this is really grainy. I'm not sure if I'm going to like this, but I'm going to do it anyway, just so I can show you guys what the process might look like occasionally. So we're going into the direction sign folder, and we're going to say direction sign base. And it's not going to be a very it's not going to be a very sharp sign at all. So I may wind up going with vector graphics for this. So if the sign's about 4 feet and the middle of the sign's about 2 feet, then wait, no, the pole is 4 feet and the sign, the midway of the pole is 2 feet. So I'm going to say it's about 1.25 feet, which means I can add a plane. A 1.25 feet, so it's literally 1/3. So 1.25 feet by 12 inches is 15 inches. 15 divided by 39.370 is 0.381 with zeros at the end. So, given 4 or 5 points of decimal precision, we're still not rounding anything else past the zeros. So 0.381 is going to be my height. Only problem is it's a square. So that's fine. Let's turn this to 90 degrees and then let's shorten this out. It's not a perfect square, so I'm going to assume it's cut in half. So what do? We divide that by 2 and we have 0.1905, which is 0.191. And there we go. We have something which is now here, and the beauty of the import that we made earlier is that the sign is actually just out in front enough of the pole to look like it's attached. So let's move this up. And what does the picture show? Okay, so there's no exposed pole metal at the top. If I look at this head on, then it's essentially covered up. And all right. I'm already at my first revision here, which is funny. If you guys don't know what I mean, I'm pretty I try to be consistent with this habit. I try to make versions of my files so that when I transition between things like adding textures or making more details, if there's a problem where I have to go back, I can go back a major change or two without having to start all the way over from scratch. So let's go into UV editing and let's now choose our sign, and we're going to pick the face, and we're going to add the texture. So now we're going to call it sign face, and we're going to add the texture that we just added before. I might even combine textures, but one step at a time. We're going to add the direction signed face that we had before, and there we go. As you can tell clearly, it is quite blurry. Also, it's sideways. So we're going to, let's see, there we go. We're going to resize this slightly. I think the easiest thing for me to do is to probably take this edge first and move it where I want it to go. Oh, excuse me. First thing I need to do is to rotate it. No, that's not what I want. I need to select the entire face. Okay. Excuse me. There we go. That's much better. Now we can make adjustments. Within reason, there's going to be some things I'm going to have to do with these shapes. But if you're paying attention on the right side, you can see that the texture is really beginning to behave nicely. And that's not bad. It's actually not bad. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. If I use backface culling, what's going to happen is I'm going to have to do something with the back face. And since this is a plane, I'm going to have to extrude something. I mean, I'm glad I didn't go with the 1K texture sheet for this because essentially it would make it even blurrier. Which kind of makes me wonder, um, should I have, actually made the sheet for this even smaller than it was? I wonder. Okay, let me actually work with this. I'm going to make a different texture. Instead of making it 512 by 512, I'm going to make it 256 by 256. I'm not expecting much out of this, but let me see what happens. You can't see what I'm doing right now because I'm working with an image editing program, but no. Yeah, this isn't, no, it's not going to work. Okay, I was trying to get a lower resolution version of this to stretch out better, but I mean, the lower you go in resolution, the worse it's going to be. I was backwards. So, okay, let me focus on the next step. I need to extrude slightly. And just the teensy bit of work that I did made it actually have a back face and a front face. So what that means is this needs to go forward just the teensiest bit. And unfortunately, moving an axis with a mouse is sometimes definitely not what the proverbial doctor ordered, but apparently in this case, it seems to have worked. Okay, so one challenge at a time. There we go. Now that we've extruded a back face away from the front face, we can choose to do something different here. We can create a new material and call it sign face back, and I can make it a standard texture, and I don't even have to do much. All I would have to do would be to add the metallic roughness and normals from dull metal. And what I hope that does is that it makes it almost completely nondescript except for the additional detail. However, there's a problem. Unless I actually add the dull metal texture, it's not really going to work. But the good news is, oh wait, hold on. Oh, of course. Of course. Okay, I need the sign face, but I also need to assign the texture to the back face. I forgot about that. So, let's pick the sign face back, and let's assign it. I said, and let's assign it. Clearly, I wasn't paying attention. Wait. This is sign face back. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's start over. Let's start over. First, I need that texture. Then I need roughness, and then I need a normal. Okay, now I should be able to assign it, and now that should go away. Okay, clearly it didn't. Ah, I forgot. I had backface culling on. Yeah. So when you have a plane, back face culling hides the back face of the plane. Kind of like when you have a mesh, like a cube, back face culling hides the inside faces, or the faces that aren't immediately visible. Mm, this is rough, but this is great for a first draft. So, do I care about that pole? I think I might want to make this texture brighter. That's my personal opinion. And that actually works. That actually works. It ain't perfect, but it'll do. Okay, great. Fair word of caution, since I am really kind of um, running and deving really fast today, if I import models into the sim and place them and render immediately, what will result is that certain objects will disappear. That's normal. That happens commonly. It happens often. So um, the only way that I figure around that problem is to render your objects outside the sim, save them using FS Package Tool, and then go into the sim and place them. This is when you want to see how everything stacks up against each other. So you want to make sure that you take care of stuff. Okay, let me think about this. All right, well, I'm not going to think too hard about it because we've already created the textures and the folder for the textures. We should be able to render this now. So I'm going to select everything, save my object. We're going to export the object, and we're going to name it appropriately. Direction sign. This is going to be something where I save with modifiers, even though I have none right now. There might be some in the future. And I'm going to make this direction dash sign dot XML, and also we're going to generate a GUID. The textures are going to go into the texture folder. So before I actually export the model, I'm going to copy the textures over, and we have all the textures that we need right here. So I'm going to do this. We're going to render the object, and then we're going to test placement, and we're going to see what it looks like. And then if I'm happy with it, we'll probably go flying for a little while. Yes, I said flying. I am going to be doing this throughout the week. So again, two things I want to do. First thing I want to do is build consistency. Second thing I want to do is treat this like the hobby that it started as, and not as a potential job. Because, hey, not gonna lie, the idea of doing this full time could be quite interesting, to say nothing of financially liberating. The problem with that is, if I treat it like a job right now, I feel like I'm just gonna go bananas like I did. Not nuts, but like just go over the top trying to create things. And then it just gets to a spot where you're like, well, I kind of did this, and and you just you run out of runway really fast, and then you just start regretting what you're doing, or you're like, I got all these things to do, but it's like, I don't know. I speak from experience. That's all I can say. All right. So let me Let me just do some renaming here. I'm going to resave and re-export, and then we're going to export it into the sim, or excuse me, we're going to build so that we can actually get what we want done. Now, we've talked about this before at length, and when you import, when you add an object and you build it on the fly in the sim, expect some visual anomalies, and that's kind of what I'm working on or dealing with certain objects that have been rendered. But when I load the scenery and I'm not in the SDK mode, if everything looks good, then that's fine. Don't worry about it at that point. Okay, so both objects were selected. I should be able to copy the entire folder over to my intended destination, and I already have another folder open. And take it to KPYM, package sources, scenery, airport, model lib, and we're going to paste the entire folder in. Now, if you have the console open, the console will be complaining about a whole bunch of things, including the fact that we have Blender files in, we don't have the texture files for it. It could be one of a number of things, but if I'm importing on the fly, I'm going to get rid of the Blender files on the files that I just pasted into my target directory. And we're going to move the textures out of the same folder where the actual object data is. I'm talking about the GLTF, bin, and XML files. And we're going to put those textures in the texture folder. So, grab all the PNG files that we have, and that should be it once we paste them in texture. MB944, God bless you, my friend. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you. I am doing some scenery dev right now, and I just finished pasting the files in for a sign, which I'm going to build in the sim right now. You came in at just the right time. So let me go ahead and hide Blender. Oh yeah, definitely for MSFS. We are at my project airport, which I've been working on over the past year, Plymouth Municipal Airport, Kilo Papa Yankee Mike, which is a general aviation airport in Plymouth, Massachusetts. And we are about to do a quickie build just so I can add an object. So, like I said, lots of errors. We're going to clear them all, and we're going to actually build. And if I do build all now, we should be fine. The thing started many years ago, and I put down scenery development because I think I got to a point where I just stopped caring and I just wanted to fly planes more. And then I was streaming for many years as just like a kind of, between quotes, career flight sim streamer. And I got to a point where I was just like, I don't know why I'm doing this right now. I should probably take a break. And I did. And what happened was I took a break. And I was like, okay, well, what do I want to do now? So I decided I was going to make scenery, and I had tried to make scenery before, but it didn't work out for me in 2021. And then I tried starting over from scratch in 2022, and that's when I think something clicked. And I was just like, oh, and then it became what it needed to become. What am I trying to say? It things fell into place. Okay, so let me go into objects, and we can pick the object that we just created, and hopefully shouldn't take too much longer to load everything. There we go. Took a while, Sim. You kind of scared me. Okay, so I can just move the object around. It's in the ground. Don't worry about it. We can adjust the position and make it so it's not snapping. So, first thing, I'm going to want to line it up more with the... Actually, here's a thought. Did I actually add a stop sign to my scenery yet? I might add that one too. Okay, so here we are. This is the object. We need to uncheck snap to ground so we can lift it off the ground, and then there we go. So there's a kind of double yellow line here, which isn't actually indicated. So what I need to do is I need to move this closer to where it would be, probably here where the line, double yellow line would be. I might actually paint that line today. But there it is. Look, there's our sign. It's not very... It's the texture resolution is not the best. However, the point of the sign is that it's there, so it indicates what direction vehicular traffic is supposed to go. Now, taking the object at face value, pun intended, we are going to... Oh, that was the shade that was doing that. Interesting. Nice. I can... You know what I forgot to do? Did I forget to do that? I might have forgotten to add metallic roughness to the object. So I might actually do that to see if it actually affects its display. And then you and I can learn about how this texturing stuff works. But there we go. When you come in, if you're in your car, you're going to see that as you pull up. It's like, you know, we need to go to the left. You do not go to the right. Because you are going to be driving down the alleyway. And I guess what happens is when you have aircraft that come into or out of this airport that park in these hangars, they all have to come out this way to get to the main exit to go out. Because I don't think they go out this way. Or maybe they do. Maybe I'm wrong. They could. They probably could. And they probably would. So you might actually be able to squeak out through this side as well. Which is kind of neat. As long as it actually works. I would probably have to find out more from Eric Flight to see what's up. In the meantime, though, we now have a indication of which direction you're supposed to go when you drive through here. And to get an indication of what that will be sized like, let's add a car here. Let's do car 4? Car 4. Black. There we go. Do I want that? Or do I want traffic? I think I want traffic cars because their textures are better, even though the cars use fewer polygons. I'm telling you, I still don't understand why I still don't understand why the cars do not look like they have better textures when I pick the higher polygon versions. I don't know why. Like, I only recently picked low resolution textures, so it wasn't that. I had it on medium, I had it on high, and it was the same issue. Maybe I need to go to ultra to load the 8K texture sheets and to make sure traffic cars and the detailed cars get what they need. But there we go. See, the sign is more or less at driver level. Even if it's just below, you can still see it when you approach it. So there you go. All right, now, do I want to add one more object to the scenery? I might, especially since I have it already built. Why not, right? Okay. So we're going to add a stop sign in a bucket with some concrete poured into the bucket so that stop sign doesn't move very much. And I'm double checking my model lib folder just to make sure I haven't added it yet. But I don't think I've added it yet, because otherwise I would have a folder with the name of stop sign. And since I don't, we haven't added it yet. I speak of this. This is exactly what it looks like. A stop sign on a pole in a plastic bucket with poured concrete, which is pretty cool. The dimensions may be off a little bit more than slightly off, and that's fine. Oh, excuse me. Why are we going away? There we go. Oh, we were going away because my computer said, hey, I need you to restart something for me. Like, I need you to confirm that we're going to restart the computer. I'm like, no, we are not going to restart the computer. I'm glad it at least asked me, because that would be the stream.
Good evening, ma'am. How are you? I'm doing good.
Hey, Coxper Dev Team, hello, welcome aboard. Glad for the follow and welcome to the Digi Fam. We are creating scenery for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I'm working on some 3D models for my Plymouth Municipal Airport scenery, which will hopefully be released soon. I say soon because I really do want to release it in the next couple months. It should have been released a long time ago, but life, you know? So, this is already set, so I should be able to just export it as is. And we didn't really do anything, so I can save it, we can export, and now we're going to actually create the object. This is the first time creating it, so bear with me temporarily. Okay, we will be applying modifiers to this because we applied modifiers to the text that we converted into mesh objects, which we decimated to reduce polygon count. And we're going to be adding this in a few seconds, actually in a few minutes, excuse me. Stop-sign.xml, generating a GUID. We're going to remember export settings, use the same texture folder, and we're going to go to the folder in my project directory, grab the textures, and make sure those textures are the ones we're using. So grab all these PNG files, and we're going to put them in texture, like I said. Bam, bam. And the texture folder has the textures, and the stop sign's done, or it should be, since I believe we just exported it. Oh, we haven't exported it yet. Duh. All right. Modifier, selected objects, GUID. Yeah, we should be ready. Everything's selected. Go. All right, folks, stand by. About to actually put this in a sim. Unless, of course, it's not good. which I would say it isn't. Okay, we have a stop sign with no word stop on it. What's wrong with this picture? I know, the missing text. Did I forget to put I forget to convert it? No, this is a mesh. It should be. Oh, wait a minute. No, no, this is an object. This isn't not an object. I don't understand why it's not rendering. It could be just some weird effect. Let me just try to copy it into the sim, and we'll see whether or not it's actually still missing stuff. So, pop in the stop sign folder. Again, we're going to get rid of a whole bunch of files that don't need to be there. Blender files can go. Texture files can go into the textures folder. So XML bin and GLTF files can stay where they are. And dump them in textures. And replace files as we go. All the files are there. It's going to complain again. That's fine. And now we've built all, and that should add the object. And once it's built, I'm going to go ahead and switch windows back to MSFS so you can see it. So, stick around. When you start adding more and more objects to the sim, to the scenery that you're building, it's going to take longer and longer to actually, I guess, do a build all. I guess that's right. Yeah, that would make sense to me. And now that we're back, I'm going to go ahead and choose the KPYM folder. Get rid of that filter. And take the stop sign and put it in. Okay, so yeah, no. I mean, I don't see the word stop on it, so I don't understand why it's not rendering the word. The word is no longer a text object. It's an actual mesh object. That's strange. Okay. So when I check this object in the 3D object viewer in Windows, the word stop literally does not appear. It's probably because it's not far enough removed from the object. So we're going to try something. We're going to move this way off the file so it pops out, save it, export it with everything, and then I'm going to take a look at the GLTF, which we just finished creating. What's the other folder again? Okay, got it. So I'm going to go back in, take a look at the GLTF file. Okay, it is not Z fighting. It is literally a problem of the object straight up not appearing. So okay, clearly this has not been converted. Transform set origin. This needs to be converted to something. I thought I converted it to a mesh. Transform to sphere, move texture space. I'm trying to find what's actually going to give me what I need. The word stop is still a shape, not a mesh. Thank you. Okay, so convert to mesh. Thank you so much. Convert to and then mesh under object. Yeah. The moment that I saw that this wasn't pulling up, I'm like, wait, something's wrong. Okay, so let me think. Do I care whether or not, you know what? No. I'm going to leave it completely blank because I kind of want the words to pop out almost like there's a reflective coating on them, but I don't want them to be emissive. This is kind of my way of doing that. Make sure you triangulate the faces and then tries to quads. Okay, what I did was this. So if you see the shape right now, I'll show you wireframe. So the reason why you don't see that many triangles and stuff is because I applied a modifier called decimate. And decimate, when you do planar, it removes, like, I don't know, something like well over 90 some odd percent of the objects. I'm sorry, the polygons. So yeah. Also, what's going on? Did I miss something? Oh wait, hold on. Shading. Duh. No, wait. I am confused. Hold on. Standby caller. I'm going to go ahead and just duck out of this just so I know I'm not saving anything weird. And we should be able to go right back into it. There we go. That's better. Unfortunately, that also means that the word stop is well out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. That should be fine. Okay. Okay. I need to strip off some precision. Yeah, the word is fine. The pole isn't. So instead of moving all that stuff back, I'm going to move the pole back just a touch. Like minus 0.1. And when I look at everything from front on, everything should be okay. Okay, the letters are n-gons. In edit mode, really? Okay, in edit mode, press A to select all, then under faces, select triangular faces. Physics, object constraint, object data, faces. Do we have triangulate? I'm using an older version of Blender. Yes. I'm using an older version of Blender. Reason being, I want to move up to the latest version of Blender after I create Plymouth, so that going forward, future versions are, working with the scenery at that point. I don't want to jump to a new version right now. Should be on top. Segments, subdivide, curve. Interesting. Well, I'm in layout mode, so yeah. Maybe I'm missing something. Editor type. Yeah. Control T is a shortcut. Okay. Try again. I pressed A, Control T. Okay. I don't have it for some reason. That's weird. All right. J. Quads. Did anything happen? Let me see. Oh, interesting. Something did happen. Yeah, we did actually. We actually added faces. So this is what it was before, and this is what it is now. No longer handguns. Okay. Okay. All right. And wait. Okay, so this is edit mode, and that's object mode. Okay. That's pretty interesting. I tell you what, we're gonna keep this. We're gonna keep this the way it is. I'm gonna trust your judgment on this. And I'm gonna save a different revision, and we're going to see what that builds like. I wonder if the problems that I've had with text before are because I've used n-gons instead of tries and quads. I'm gonna assume that's the case. Okay, so let's select everything, save it, and we're going to export this, or at least I thought I was going to export this. Excuse me. There we go. All right. Here goes. Selected objects. Same thing. Everything should be in texture like we wanted it to be. But give me a moment. Concrete, dome metal. Yeah, concrete. Yeah, this is everything that I need. And generate. And now we're going to double check. Thank you. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. Let me grab my other screen here. Okay. Well, I just exported it. Let me take a look at it in the 3D viewer. Did I actually export it? Wait, something about this is a little bit off. We have the entire thing selected. I saved it. Wait, I might not have saved it. Let me export one more time. I'm using the extended GLTF. A big stop sign. Extensions, animation, modifiers, transform, include, MSFS, stop sign, XML, texture, remember export settings. Okay, and refresh. Okay, it's still not showing up with the words on it, but I'm going to go ahead and copy the files into the program anyway, just to see what happens. So we didn't add new textures, we just changed the basic build. So only the 3 files need to be copied over, at least that's my assumption. And we're going to go back into the stop sign folder, and we're going to dump those files in. And now I should be able to re-render by going into the sim and clicking on build all. Hey, SG, hello my friend, very good to see you. Happy to have you aboard. In for a little bit of scenery dev, and I'll probably stop in the next 20 minutes. If I can't get the stop sign to work, I'll probably take a look at it off stream and see why it's not cooperating. If there's a problem in the build, it'll probably tell me in the console right now. Okay, no errors whatsoever. That's good. And now I can go to my folder and I can choose the stop sign one more time. And again, no worries if it's in the ground. We can pull it up. But again, that's weird. It's like I can unsnap it so that it can actually, you know, come up off the ground. That's not what my worry is. The problem is that the lettering isn't on it. No, it's really strange. We converted the stop, the wording on the stop sign. We converted it from an n-gon to a quad or a polygon. We converted it to tris and we converted it to quads, but it isn't showing up still. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to version 6 and we're going to try looking at it again. And wireframe. Okay, so let me go back to version 7 again, actually. Let me revise going forward. And we'll take the stop sign text, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to select it, and I'm going to apply a... Oh, there's only 9 faces? It's still a shape. Okay, all right. Why am I not seeing convert? Probably because I'm in edit mode. Yeah, all right, stop. Convert to mesh. So this is a mesh now. Yeah. There we go. So, all right, before I do anything else, this is now a mesh. So I should be able to export it immediately and see if it actually did anything. Okay. For some weird reason, that seemed way weirder than all the work that I've done with letters before. But again, I've never messed around with tris and quads, so that makes sense. All right, we just exported that. I'm going to take a look at it in the 3D viewer. Okay, I can actually see the word in the 3D viewer now, so that gives me hope. And I'm going to go ahead and dump it straight into the stop sign folder in the actual package source. We're going to replace, we're going to hide the Blender window, we're going to, oh, look at that. I don't even have to rebuild. It's right there. Well, you want to know what, SG? You're probably working with a newer version of Blender, which means that some of the, what am I trying to say? Some of the steps required to make it work are probably way different for you than for me. Okay, so in the airport, the stop sign is really tilted more towards the road than the driver. So we're going to actually adjust this slightly, rotate it, and then move it into place. Yep, I'm still using 2.83 because I'm slow and lazy. Well, okay. I am slow. I'm a little lazy. Or I'm very lazy. Go on, judge. I'm not going to make it look more crooked than that. That should be good enough, and I should be able to move it a little bit more up against it. I'd probably say, let me think. If you have like a contractor plastic tub full of concrete, how heavy would you think that is? Like 50 pounds, 60 pounds? That's got to be heavy. That stop sign can't be. It really can't be going anywhere. So let's paint a couple lines and call that piece of the scenery done. So we're going to use painted line. And before we do anything, I'm going to go ahead and put this into put it in here in the West Hanger assets. So direction sign is there, stop sign is there, and there we go. And now what I can do is I can actually add painted lines, and I have compartments for this, and painted lines, West Hanger parking lines, West Hanger taxi lines. We're gonna say parking line. Oh no, wait, that's parking lines. Taxi lines. Let's make a new group, or add a painted line and add it to a new group. So I want a painted line, and it's gonna be just a default. In Blender, you could use symbols saying you had a modifier, but you also had like a curve symbol that shows you you have it as a shape. Okay. You had an MSFS, you can go right through it. I kind of like how when you're dealing with photogrammetry in the sim, if you fly too close to something, it will just clip your plane. Like, it'll just take you down right there. Okay, so the stop sign is literally on the thing, and then the sign is in front of it. Okay, got it. Pardon me just a moment, folks. I want to move this first. So the sign is in front of the line. Yeah, it's like about a good couple of inches off. So now I can draw the line real nice. And where's my painted line group? There we go. Great. I have a odd problem with my airport with only a few select windows and floors, flashing lights, strobe lights. Double check the placement of your polygons. I talk about it a lot. I call it Z fighting. If your polygons are really close to each other, like right on top of each other, like in the same literal X or Y or Z coordinate, they might be the system might be trying to figure out on the fly which face should be rendered, which is probably why it's complaining. And that's just my guess. Okay, so let me think here. Yeah, I think these lines are weathered, but I'm just gonna paint them solid for now. Did I miss something? That's weird. Okay. We will try it again. There we go. And now... Huh? Okay, now I'm really confused. What just happened? Can't find any instances of planes taking the exact same spot, just near each other. Um, Hit me up on Discord after the stream, whether it's through DMs or just talking about it in the mods page, and then we can hash that out. Maybe throw some screenshots too, so I can see. But I'd be curious to see what problem you're having, just so I can weigh in. But I mean, you might have the problem fixed in a few seconds. I just know if I put things too close to each other, it will literally be a problem. Okay, that's why it's complaining. Okay, so now we have this. I forgot you have to press the enter key. I forgot. Okay, so we're going to take these two painted lines and we're going to make a new group for them, and we're going to call them, um, West Hangar Drive Up Stop Line, or West Hangar Vehicle Movement Lines. Okay, so pretty close to reality. You're going to have a couple of double yellow lines. These would be more weathered than in these are less weathered than in real life, but you would you would have this kind of telling you, hey, if you're driving, you have to go that way. Like, you cannot go that way. Yeah, it's been a thorn in your side. Oh man, that sucks. Well, hopefully we'll be able to get that resolved and get you in a better spot. Okay. Well, I tell you what. It's almost 6 o'clock. I had planned on maybe doing a little bit, like an hour worth of dev, and then chilling for a bit. I'm pretty sure that Mrs. Digi is still not done with what she's working on, and this is a pretty good spot for me to stop. So I'm going to click on save. I'm going to close up my groups, and I think am going to click save again and hit build all. We shouldn't have any problems with building, and I don't know. I might do a lazy fly along session in Disney for fun, just to chill. I don't think I should have a problem with the sim. I'm running in 1440p right now, downscale for you guys, closer to 1080p, but it's not quite there. Not doing it at 1080p frees up my sim, my computer, to keep the frame rates going in the sim without going bananas. So, yeah, that's not bad. We made a sign. We put the other stop sign in the sim. I learned about, you know, converting shapes to meshes. That's great. What SG, what am I going to tell you? It's the proverbial issue of content devs like you and me, walking the line between walking the line between choosing to go in the sim and or like go on Blender to dev, and being like, you know what? I feel like just having some fun in the sim today. And it's like, oh, but you know, I want to like build and I want to do blah blah blah. It's it okay, I may be one of the only folks on the planet that's thinking that way, but I'm doing okay. We have to have fun with it. I know, right? All right, let me lower the volume a bit since we're going to be jumping into some flying ops today. Abalars, hello, my friend. I am good. I hope you're even better than I am. Lower the volume a little bit since we're going to be hopping into an airplane for some flights over flying Disney because, you know, chill after dev. And I think we're going to be probably flying the Icon because I fancy some river runs. Yeah, Abelar's definitely glad to have you aboard, and we are going to be going down to Florida today. We spent some time in Massachusetts, and in case you guys missed it or you're just coming into the stream now, I spent time this weekend doing some sim tweaking, and the results are, okay-ish in in P3D in terms of me trying to extract more frames, but they definitely gave me some results in Microsoft Flight Sim. So one of the things that I did was that I took my texture resolution all the way down to low, because for one, I kept having issues with not frame rate, but with stuttering. So believe it or not, one of the biggest problems I always complained about whenever I flew tube liners in MSFS, whenever I would get to a destination airport, the jetways would not be fully rendered. Guess what the first thing was that I noticed when I lowered my texture resolution to low? The default jetways now fully render. And I have not done, it hasn't been a while since I've flown between updates. So I gotta figure it's literally because the sim was so invested in loading everything else that it did not actually allow me to load the jetways. SG, I didn't. It's crazy. I didn't. I was fully expecting to get like, oh, it's going to be lower quality. It's going to be like, blah, blah, blah. It really isn't. Do you want to see? I'm going to show you right now. Give or take an extra, like give or take 5 frames a second that I'm missing out on because I'm actually streaming. Low texture resolution with the kinds of things that I have. I think I have photogrammetry ground terrain set to 200 instead of 100. It does not look bad. All right, stand by. Okay, I've just taken the volume down to like about a quarter of the way further down than what I had it before. So there we go. Well, okay. I tell you what, if you're scared about setting settings, there are 2 things you could probably do. You could probably either start with a generic setting, like a default, medium, or high, and then tweak the settings to your taste, and then experiment with what you see for frame rates. If the frame rates are to your liking and the stuttering is okay, then congrats, you have a great render. If the frame rate is not to your liking, then you might be pushing your CPU a bit too much or using too much VRAM. And that's just my guess. If the frame rate's to your liking but you're stuttering too much, you might be using too much VRAM, but your CPU might be just fine. Now, let me show you my debug so you guys can see what my frame rate counter is. So right now I'm getting, it's occasionally red, and I'm not sure if that's because I'm using too much VRAM, but my GPU memory is not that high right now, and I suspect the low quality textures, or between quotes, low quality textures, might have something to do with it. I have not that much memory being used right now, and I think I'm using, I don't know if I'm using VSync or not. That's interesting. It says my render is not the same as what I have. So my render, what's actually being rendered is actually not the same. That's a little weird. Okay, so super resolution, full screen is auto. I'm using DLSS and my VSync is off. I turned on low latency, and I'm gonna try using VSync just to see what happens. Okay, so VSync took me down to 30 frames a second. But it still feels nice. If I turn off VSync, it's probably going to run like crazy. And honestly, I think it's because I'm running it in 1440p. If I run it in 1080p resolution on my screen, the frame rate starts dipping into the 50s, 60s, and 70s. This is also with photogrammetry on. But honestly, with all this weather and these calculations, I'm not getting, I think, the kind of stuttery experience I used to get. Now, there is still a little bit of stuttering, but I feel like because I'm using lower quality textures, I don't think it's as bad an issue. And look, well, this is with photogrammetry, so I don't know if I can speak to the quality of AutoGen, but I will say I like the way things look right now. I feel like I feel like streaming at 1080p again, or having my resolution set at 1080p, especially since it's downscaled for you guys anyway. Let me try something. I'm gonna pause the sim. I'm gonna adjust my resolution, and we're gonna see what kind of a difference it is when I drop down to 1080p. And I should be able to adjust my resolution on the fly. It will mess up the overlay, so I'm probably just going to put it on top of the overlay or hide the overlay. But I just want to see what the difference is in performance. Not worried about the sim crashing. Let's keep the changes. And now we're like 60. This feels smooth. Oh my word! Look at how green the debug bar is now. Also, it's smaller. Okay, so that's FS 2020, and we are maxed out. We're actually the screen size is actually maxed out. So this is 1080p. So let's try it now. Now this is smooth. Remember how we were like getting local lows in like the 30s? This just feels so much nicer. Yes, there is stuttering, but it's almost imperceptible, or to put it another way, It's almost like the sim is apologizing to me. 1080p resolution in this game feels like just the frame rate feels like a gourmet meal. And if you hide the FPS counter, you don't even care. At least I don't. I'm happy with this, man. Ooh-wee. Also, fall foliage coming through. You can't really tell from this angle because, I mean, you can't, I'm sorry, you can tell from this angle, but you can't tell the colors too well down here because Central Florida is not going to get that cold. However, in my neck of the woods in the Mid-Atlantic, it is going to get that cold, and I'm looking forward to it. All right, let's go ahead and swing back up to... Let's swing back up north to Magic Kingdom and the Contemporary Hotel. Oh, wow. So there is some stutter that I'm noticing, but I feel like that's way more an issue of the local lows for my frame rate. The way this feels now, now that I know that I can get a better experience in MSFS by simply lowering my texture resolution, I'm sorry, that is no longer important to me. You wonder how you ended up being Canadian. I'm not, I, I don't have enough information to even remotely attempt to answer that question for you. I I am where I am in the world by the Lord's grace, and I am grateful for where I live. Um, and I can push myself on to better and better things, of course, but most definitely grateful for life as it stands at the moment. You'd be happy to never see another winter again. I like four seasons. I don't think I'd want to live in a near constant state of winter, but I no longer am happy with the idea of living in a place like this um, year round, or at least it's not something which appeals to me. Let's see. Let's try landing in Bay Lake first. Oh, right, right. Because on the one hand, it's like, yeah, sure, like, hey, warmer weather, palm trees, blah, blah, blah. But on the other hand, it's like, well, I don't know. Oh, I'm still on the plane. Like, I don't know about. I'm playing with a gamepad, so boink. Actually, that landing wasn't bad. Boink, 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 boink. All right. Did I? I think my water rudder was already open or down. Oh, wow. Being on the water even is better. Oh, my word. Just, mind the alligators. But, um, I mean, there's weather compromises no matter where you go in the world. You might have, You might have extreme cold or extreme heat where you are. You might have earthquakes or tornadoes or be susceptible to hurricanes. I'm trying to appreciate what I have right now, and you know, time ago in the past, I did actually feel like a magnitude 5 something earthquake at my old job, which was really weird. Or every animal is deadly. Well, if I walk into my bedroom and there's a spider the size of, a chinchilla on the wall, that could be problematic. That could be highly problematic. Or you could deal with, flying insects with really strong stingers, some of which can sting you again and again and again, and don't die. That's a problem. But I don't know if I want to live in the Southwest. Scorpions and brown recluse spiders. No thanks. Vancouver seems to be idyllic as a place in Canada. I think, I think in one sense, I am kind of curious about where folks like Studio Canuck live in like Alberta, and I haven't spent nearly enough time visiting people in places like Montreal or Quebec or I did actually I did actually spend some time on a cruise trip. What? Oh, I don't think they call it that. um, I did spend some time in Halifax and in St. John, and they're nice. Oh, yeah. Canuck was talking about that at one point. I think he was at least. I think. Woo-wee. And up we go. Beautiful. Yeah, yeah, seriously. I think one place that I haven't gone to check out yet that I probably want to go see at some point is Prince Edward Island, and eventually make my way over to Newfoundland. I would like to go there. I've, I mean, I've, I've officially, I guess you can say I've flown over Canadian provinces on the way to Alaska, or just British Columbia. Yeah, I think, I think the higher up in frame rate you go, the more stuttering just becomes more of a hiccup than a major problem. Because I've noticed this, I noticed this yesterday when I was flying in P3D and MSFS. Both those sims do have stutters, but I think the problem with P3D is the frame rate differential between what what's shown in the sim, like the frame rate differential between what I experience as frame rate and what the stutters can do to bring my frame rate down. That's when it really hits. Northern Nova Scotia. Okay, I've never been to Northern Nova Scotia. I think I'd like to go. Um, um, I forget where it was that I went. I think it was we took a bus ride up to some part of the bay between St. John and Nova Scotia, and the tide gets so low in places after a certain point in the day that you can walk out pretty far. You can walk out to I think one of the caves that's there. I forget where it was, but um, it was beautiful. The Bay of Fundy. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, that was a great place to go see. I didn't get that much time to go there because I think what happened was we showed up and we had some food to eat, and by the time we got done and we got out to I guess like the extended shoreline, the tide had already started coming in. And what's interesting about that is for somebody like me that doesn't spend that much time at the beach anymore, when you when you see the tide come in, it just comes in slowly and it just kind of keeps coming and keeps coming and keeps coming and keeps coming. And the river or the river bed that we saw on the way in started to look more and more filled as we drove out. Highest tides in the world. Yeah, yeah, I can believe it. And the river system that either supports it or is next to it is such that um depending on the time of day, the river will flow one way and another way like at high tide, which when I think about it now kind of blows my mind. Yeah. And to be honest with you, this is why I prize frame rate so highly in a sim. This is probably why I'm going to be doing a lot more flights over the next few weeks and months in MSFS as opposed to P3D. Not because I think P3D sucks, because I still have P3D 5.3 installed on my computer. It's because this is so much friendlier on multi-threaded, multi-core processors like the one I have. And yeah, I'm going to keep using it. Okay, is there anywhere else that I want to go in the world that I can experiment with before I'm done for today? I don't know. Um, I wonder if I could actually find the Bay of Fundy in the sim. I would be curious. I would be curious. Let's go look for it. And yes, I am gaming with a gamepad right now. You can judge. Okay, really fast. Can I find the Bay of Fundy? Is that it? No, that's a lighthouse. This is St. John. Moncton. I never got to Moncton. We came into Halifax as our first stop, and then we came in on the ship up to St. John. So, I'm trying to think, where would they have parked the boat? It would have either been here or one of these ports, probably one of these ports. I thought I remember what the place looked like. No, that was Halifax. Okay, so let me see if I can find the river. CCQ3 or maybe CCQ4. Okay, let me try. So, CCQ4, Amherst. Okay, now this is where things get tricky because I'm trying to figure out where we were. You want to know what? This makes sense. This makes sense. Okay, well let's just start up in the air and see what we see. It would be cool to see the same place that I saw when I was up there last year. I think you're right. I think you're actually right. It seemed more mountainous though. Let me see. it seemed like there were more hills and stuff. So I may be way off. I did not actually. Was that recent, or was that a few months ago, last year? Yeah, I hadn't heard, man. May the Lord be with all those folks affected. It's crazy. I can tell you that I already like this place, and that I'm probably going to be back here, there again in the Sims soon. I might even try. I might even try flying eastbound from Vancouver in a business jet and overflying places like this under the guise of GA or VFR flights. It happened in the middle. It happened in the middle of the pandemic. Oh man, there's a good chunk of stuff that happened in the pandemic. Um, I I gotta be honest. I can't even. There were there were some things that I think I had difficulty wrapping my head around. I kind of have difficulty wrapping my head around now that I didn't at the time. Like being able to stand in the middle of a major highway and not see cars coming for like over a minute solid. That was a weird time. Weird time. Okay, so those hills up ahead, I'm wondering if they might actually be the place. But, oh, you know what I can do? Sheesh. I can do this. I can just look it up. Sorry, brain. So I'm looking up the Bay of Fundy because I want to see where it is. So the Bay of Fundy, the Bay of, oh, well, duh. The Bay of Fundy is this area in Nova Scotia. Um, so yes, we are in the Bay of Fundy, but there was a place where we took a bus ride. We took a bus ride, and it literally we literally got to this place which I can only describe as essentially um, a bit of a shack which served fantastic food, but the view was like the main sell. So as a result, it was just a beautiful, beautiful place to experience. Very nice trip. Actually, what I can probably do is take a look at some satellite imagery and see if I can find it while I'm flying. And we're going to zoom all the way up, and we're going to go to the Bay of Fundy. And we drove up from we drove up from St. John. I don't think we went to St. John. Did we go to St. John River? Did we go to Grand Lake? I'm trying to remember. I know we drove past an airport. I just don't know what airport it was. Did we drive past Moncton? No, that would have made sense because then we would have been close to Prince Edward Island. We were on a bus and it was a day trip, but we didn't go that far. I think we went into like downtown St. John for a little bit, but that was on the way back. I'm trying to remember where the airports were. Four Corners. I don't know if we actually drove by Four Corners. Mm, was it was it was it Mace's Bay? I need to see. I need to see some satellite imagery. I'm pretty sure we went up. Was it West Quaco? We drove past St. John Airport. We had to have driven past St. John Airport. We drove past an airport. And let me think. Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. I think I found it. I think I found it. And I think I am way, way north of where I want to be. But now I know enough to jump back into the sim and teleport there. So I will show you what I'm talking about. And that restaurant was not a dive. It was a really good restaurant, actually. Okay, so we picked Amherst, right? Okay, this is St. John, right? And this is St. John Airport. So I am looking for it. We're looking for West Quaco or Orange Hill, because Orange Hill is way closer to it. So what I need to do is zoom out a bit more. If I go kind of like east northeast from St. John, there's two kind of outcroppings, and I'm pretty sure it's this. And I'm going to double check it, but there's a covered bridge or a not so covered bridge. And we either came in from the north or we kind of came through St. Martin's. But yeah, I think this is the place. And now I'm pretty sure. Oh, this is so cool if it looks the same way. I'm pretty sure it will, but I mean, I wasn't expecting to be able to find it. I wasn't even thinking about it until we started talking about my trip to Canada last year. It was a cruise. Beautiful. All right. Also, weather in Canada today, in the Maritimes at least, pretty choppy. Also, fall foliage. All right, let's swing around. Yes. Okay. Unfortunately, it's probably not going to be that. I'm pretty sure we don't simulate tides in the sim, but those houses there, so to speak, that's the restaurant. I think it's literally called the Caves Restaurant. All right, so we have the water rudder coming down now, and we are going down really fast. All right. Oh, this would be a bumpy landing. Let me go around. Whee! Wow. Okay, don't go that fast, dude. It's like I yanked back on the stick. Slow it down. All right. Flying with a gamepad is tricky. We're gonna bounce. I'll accept that. And stall and spin. I'm gonna be boating for a while. We're way out. All right, great. Whee! All right. Now it feels like I'm on a whatchamacallit, a speedboat or a riverboat. Oh, dude, that was one of the great parts of the Alaska trip I took um, over the summer. We took a riverboat tour, and it was loud and it was fast. I liked how the nose lifted up whenever you would really get going. Okay. Can we turn to the right easily? No, we can't. Let's turn around. Whee! Oi. No, can't really do it that well. The water physics in MSFS make you crank up the engine to really get turned around. Or I think you have to lift up the nose. Come on. Come on. Or do I have to turn off my water taxi thingamabobber? I thought that was supposed to be down. That's better. Okay. Woof. Yeah, this is so tricky. Or I could be a tremendously horrible boater, and essentially the boat's going to work with the current, but it's not going to totally overcome it. And we're going to drop landing gear because we're about to go on the ground. And oh, that is so cool. See, that's weird. It's almost like the waves deformed as I transitioned to the shore. That's crazy. But I was here. I ate in that place, and the caves here were accessible when this tide was like out to about as far as that one tree was right there. And it was pretty far out. To startle restaurant goers for sure. It's like, oh, must be the afternoon crowd. Not me. Not them, me. But that's fun. This is pretty cool. See, this is why I like doing stuff for the sim. Not because I'm trying to, like, make a name for myself, but just because the experience of revisiting places that you've been to in real life, even if you have a half-cooked texture map sign pointing you someplace, there are the people that don't get it, and there are the people that do. I like to tell stories, and this is part of the experience for me. This is great. Whether I'm talking to one person or 10. Also, AccuSeason doing a great job with the fall foliage. Um, I'll take the green wall because I don't care. And yeah, pretty good atmospherics for today's flight or today's crash, really. Um, I'm happy. I really am happy. So, okay. Let me just shut down. How do I do that? Do I just pull? I should probably be able to just shut stuff off. Let me see. Nav, strobe. There we go. Everything's off. I think this is the battery switch. Yep, there we go. Beautiful. That's better. Ooh, listen to that sound. I'm gonna crank up the audio. And now, a moment of relaxation with DIGI DEV. I'm sorry. That lasted for a hot, like, 5 seconds. But still, who knows? No, this is going to turn into an ASMR session. I'm just happy to hear the waves. It almost makes me wonder if I should take a trip out to, I don't know, like Rockaway Beach or like Bridgeport or something during the fall, because I feel like it would be way nicer with just like a slight chill in the air and like a picnic basket with me and Mrs. DIGI just chilling, taking in the morning or the afternoon sunshine and resting. I would really like to at some point do something for her that would be spectacular, but you know, life happens, and you have to use some of the things that you've set aside in order to take care of people you care about. Mrs. DIGI is important to me. She's awesome. We've been together for a undisclosed amount of time, married, and I'm certainly grateful for her company and for her wit. She makes me laugh like crazy sometimes, and she's also part of the reason why I enjoy flight sim the way I do. She helped fund the first sim rig and the second one. So I sold the first one, by the way. But being able to enjoy this adventure with friends and family is something that I care about, that I enjoy a lot. So, it's about 2 hours into the trip today, and honestly, I think I've enjoyed today's flight significantly, to today's dev session as well. And I think we're going to go ahead and call it here. I don't know if anybody is streaming that we can say hi to in the raid. It's 6:40 p.m. Of course people are streaming on Sunday. Did you come on? Clearly. So, let's get ready for a raid. Let's go say hi to a friend or two. And let's see who we can say hi to this time. As per usual, we've got folks like 757 Spot Continuum, who is flying the IXCG 737-300 in Colombia. We have Sim Caesar doing group fly-alongs, and Burstix doing short takeoff competitions, short takeoff and landing competitions. And who else? Live traffic ADSB. And our friend Alpha Charlie Twitch is flying the Concorde. a good chunk of choices to choose from. I don't know. I don't know. I think we're going to go visit Continuum. Yeah. Let's go set up the raid now. Thank you so much, SG. Really, really appreciate your company and everybody that stopped by and said hello, even if only for a few moments. Like I always like to say, if you want true peace, you really do want the Prince of Peace in your life, and that is Jesus Christ. Folks, have a great, great rest of your afternoon and a wonderful week ahead. We're going to go ahead and raid Continuum now. Take care, and until next time, God bless you and watch over you in Jesus' name. Take care.